A gem cannot be polished without friction, and a man cannot be perfected without trials. Pain sharpens you, disappointment shapes you, and resistance reveals you. So when the world hits you, don't ask, why me? Ask instead, what is this trial trying to make of me? Today I want to show you why hardship is not your enemy. It's your fire, the very thing that will forge you into something powerful. Most men want the reward, but they run from the grind. They want strength without sacrifice, victory without war, wisdom without wounds, but nothing real is forged in comfort. You don't sharpen steel with silk, you sharpen it with fire, with heat, with pressure, and every man who became a great had to endure, had to fight, had to keep going when everything said stop. Let me tell you about one of them. Thomas Edison, the man behind the electric light. Most people know his success. Very few know his struggle. He failed over 10,000 times trying to invent the light bulb. Yes, 10,000. He didn't cry. He didn't quit. He didn't say, maybe I'm not cut out for this. He said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's the mind of a man who understands trials. He didn't see failure as defeat. He saw it as information. Every mistake was another step. Every wrong turn narrowed the path to the right one. If he had given up at 9,000, there would be no light. This is another story of Stephen King. Now listen to this. Stephen King, one of the greatest writers of all time, had his first novel rejected 30 times. You know what he did with it? He threw it in the trash. He thought it was garbage. He thought he was done. But his wife, a woman of quiet strength, pulled the manuscript out of the bin and told him to try again. He did. That book, Carrie, it launched his career. Now he's sold over 400 million books worldwide. Let that sink in. If he had let rejection define him, if he had let a temporary no become a permanent stop, we would have never known his name. J.K. Rowling is another person. She was rejected by 12 publishers before one said yes. She was broke, depressed, a single mother. She could have given up, but she didn't, because she'd rather try and fail than wonder what could have been. And now, she created one of the most successful book series in history, not because she never failed, but because she refused to stay failed. Now here is the truth. Most men avoid trials are not there to break you. They are there to build you. But here's the problem. Most men sit back and complain. They point fingers. They say, life's not fair. And they're right, life isn't fair. But strength doesn't come from fairness. It comes from resistance. If you're always looking for ease, you'll never discover your edge. The man who wins is not the one who got lucky. He's the one who kept going. Every time you get rejected, you're being trained. Every time you fail, you're being sharpened. Every hardship is a hammer strike against the anvil of your potential. No pressure, no diamonds, no adversity, no mastery, no pain, no evolution. So when you feel pain, when you feel pressure, don't ask for it to stop. Ask how you can rise through it. Stop being that guy who complains. Stop being the man who waits for motivation. Stop blaming the world for your wounds. Instead, be the man who fought back, who used pain as fuel, who used trials as tools, who kept going when everyone else gave up. Because those are the men who rise. Those are the men who get remembered. Those are the men who build legacies. There's a man out there who tried. He gave it everything. He stumbled. He bled. He failed. And there's another man who never tried. He stayed safe. He never risked anything. He never lost, but he never lived either. Let me be clear. The man who tried and failed is 10 times the man who never dared. Because failure is not weakness. Cowardice is. The coward sits in comfort. He avoids rejection. He avoids pain. He calls it wisdom, but it's not wisdom, it's fear dressed in logic. He says, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What will people say? So he never starts. He never risks. He never loses, but he also never wins. And at the end of his life, he realizes he never lived. Then there's the other kind of man, the one who tries. He falls. He embarrasses himself. People laugh. He loses money, time, friends, but he learns. He grows. He builds scars, and those scars turn into strength. You see, success is built on ruins, Every failed attempt is a brick in the fortress of a strong man. Failure is not the end. Failure is feedback. It's the world saying, not yet. Do it better. Try again. Failure is life's way of separating the weak from the relentless, the fearful from the fearless, the talkers from the doers. You can't avoid it. You shouldn't want to, because failure is proof you were in the arena, not in the crowd. Just like Thomas Edison, who tried many times and failed, but never gave up. The man who tries understands this. Every loss is a lesson. Every setback is a stepping stone. He doesn't fear embarrassment. He doesn't fear rejection. He fears regret. He fears becoming the old man who sits on his porch, haunted by the words, "What if I had tried?" The Stoics understood this truth deeply. The obstacle is the way. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, not to show off, not to impress, but to remind himself that pain is part of the path. A Stoic doesn't avoid hardship. He welcomes it, because he knows with every trial, he is becoming stronger, wiser, more resilient. He doesn't need ease. He needs a purpose. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself, am I the man who steps up or the one who hides? Am I the man who creates or the man who criticizes? Am I the man who says, I gave it everything, or the one who dies with his music still inside him? So the next time life tests you, don't ask to be rescued. Don't look for the shortcut. Instead, lean in, clench your fists, square your shoulders, face the storm, because every trial is a mirror showing you who you are, and every man who chose to endure discovered that he was far more powerful than he thought. You are not here to be soft. You are not here to be safe. You are here to rise. Remember, a gem cannot be polished without friction, and a man cannot be perfected without trials. If this message hit you deep like this video, share it with a brother who's fighting battles. And if you're on the path of mental strength, masculine growth, and Stoic discipline, subscribe to the Stoic spirit. This is where men sharpen men. This is where warriors are forged. Until next time, endure the fire. Emerge as gold.